So here we are. I'm here, Joy, and there's Melanie. And the reason we're talking today is because Melanie contacted me and she said, Joy, you know Dropsmith? And I said, yes. And she said, well, I'd really like to just find out a little bit about how you're using it. And, would you be willing to talk with, people about how you use it and everything? And I thought, yes, it's about time we did that, because the way Melanie and I first met was at Botanica 2016 at breakfast, wasn't it?
On the way to breakfast, actually.
On the way to breakfast, that's right.
I know exactly how we met. It was, I was actually very tired, and I think it was waiting for the elevator or in the elevator. It was somewhere there.
Yes.
And it was love at first sight. We started talking right away. I think like chemistry was, by the time we came down, it was just 1 floor or 2 floors down.
Yeah. That's right. But I don't think either of us knew who each other was really until we sat at the table and we started talking.
I didn't know. I didn't even know that. Oh, can I tell? Because this is
yes.
It probably wasn't as striking for you as it was for me. So here I am at Botanica, casual as usual, and talking to just met this wonderful person and talking to her, and we're talking and we're laughing like we knew each other for our whole life, and we're exchanging ideas and stuff. And then other people came and we're still talking. I think we were talking for like 30 minutes or an hour when it hit me. Joy. Oh my God, Joy, the Joy, and she's like one of my heroes, And then it was at the moment of my I don't know, aha moment. Okay, now it's too late to go back and say hello. I'm Melanie, and can I please sit with you? It was. Okay, we're already buddy. Let's continue this. But it was such a strange moment, I'm talking to you, and I'm all probably talking about Dropsmith, and just being kind of full of myself, and then oh my God, this is Joy. It was a really, it's a really big moment for me.
It's so
and then
strange.
we hung out, and I was like, oh my God, she still wants to hang out with me. This is so cool.
Yeah. Nerds get attracted to one another, obviously, and stay attracted. It's very interesting.
It was amazing. It was a great moment for me.
Yeah.
And then also because you liked my idea from the start, it was a big thing, because at that time it was not out yet. And I was very, very, very self-conscious about it.
Yeah, I think you were just at the crunch point of being about to launch it, and you were a bit frustrated because you weren't able to launch it at Botanica.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be launched. This was supposed to be the real launching before 2016. Although, Joy, the first app I was doing with my friend was supposed to be out on the first Botanica. 2012. But I fell through and I had my child, blah blah blah, and then the next one was like 2016 for sure, and then no, not happening.
Yeah, but it was so nice because I didn't have any idea what had happened in the aromatherapy world. I'd never been to any Botanica before. I'd been out having my own child. I mean, isn't it interesting what children do to one? But I'd actually taken 10 years away from being involved. I mean, since the PhD, and I finished the studies in 2006. And then it was 2016, and I'd done one workshop, I think, which was in 2010 in America. And that was just a 2-day workshop, a one-off for a friend. And I had no idea what was happening in aromatherapy. And to actually talk with you and realize that you had put into action using, firstly, your graphic skills, secondly, your computing knowledge, and thirdly, your love and a passion and amazing chemistry knowledge. You'd put all three things together in a way that I had really longed to do when I was first involved in aromatherapy back in the 90s. That was, I could see the need for a product or a database or something that people would be able to go, almost like dialing up a constituent. What oil's that in? And you told me that you couldn't do it yet, but that was a very good idea. And now, 2020, you can dial up a constituent and you can put in, I want to know all of the oils that have between 30 and 50% of that constituent, or 31 and 63% of that constituent. And you can be so precise, and you can find out which chemical family it belongs to. And this was the take-home moment, was getting it linked to the actual literature, providing the starting point for an evidence-based
Well, great minds think alike,
Yeah, must be. Yeah, look at here we are. Wearing our red, I know. Yeah, so anyway, it was just enchanting for me to realize, even though I felt like I was a has-been, and that I was, I was
No,
nothing and no one. I
you're
know, but
inspiring. And when, if you remember, after you got very passionate about it, I considered all your things you suggested. They're still, we are actually implementing them, and we will also add them. I will not reveal what exactly, but there are a lot of things that you suggested we will do, and
that's
all your what you contributed was, I mean, just so you liked it was already enough for me. Actually,
I liked it.
Joy approves. Okay, then I'm on the right track. But you're right. It needs to be. I mean, we're in the digital era and the information era, and there's just so many things we have available, and you just can't remember it.
No.
And especially for us who like to explore more, I know all the little details you just mentioned.
Yeah.
It's necessary. It's very necessary for us to take that extra step, to go the extra mile, to move forward, and to actually use what we already have, because it's here, it's available, and we need to use it. Otherwise, it's a waste of research and people's everything.
Yeah.
It's there. Why not use it?
You're right. And I also have a feeling that we don't appreciate the full richness of Dropsmith unless we actually go in and start comparing oils and doing blends, like that functionality. Though I'm not a clinician, it always intrigues me, when you think, oh, well, what's a blend I like? And, there are some which I've been recommended, or I read them in books and I go, oh, I wonder what they're like, and put it together. And then when you see it sort of in the little bottle image that you do for the blending, I really like that. And it appeals to my sense of visual aesthetic, I suppose, or, I like being able to see things in a diagram, and it just really puts it all together for me. I really, really like it.
It's easier to understand. And for example, one oil you can kind of, but not even one oil, understand why it works, how it works. If there's like one major dominating component, then it's quite clear. But when it adds up, and especially with blending, and the ratio of drops or milliliters in the blend, it's just impossible. It's impossible. And the more I worked with pharmacists and medical professionals, the more I saw that this is the only way to go. The only way to go, because this is where we live, in this world that expects these answers, and it's just irresponsible not to have them if they're available. And not only irresponsible, but we can be more precise. We can do better things if we have more information, and not waste time finding them every time.
Exactly.
We always forget. And every oil is different, and so you just cannot know what's in it, and the safety part is connected to the chemical components. This is something I think we need to get through a bit more to the community, that chemistry is not that hard. Essential oil chemistry. Read the blog.
Valid.
Yes, and just at least the basics, so you have to know what's in the stuff you're using, whether it's essential or whatever. It affects your body, your family, your clients. It's an intelligent, responsible thing to do.
One point, probably in 2010, I was talking with somebody who's got a big essential oil company, and he was saying, well, I think what we need to do in the future is to go and use just the individual components. We need to move away from whole essential oil use. And it's an idea that's been tingling in the back of my brain, going, yeah, I know, that would be cool. And I've seen it since then that, you know, you can buy, for example, beta caryophyllene, and you can add that to your mixture, or you can buy pinene, alpha pinene, and add that to your blend. And I still have mixed feelings about it. I don't know if it's a good idea, but
I'm a sensitive lover. I can't completely accept it.
yeah,
But but it would
it's,
be much easier. It's much far more control if you know,
yeah,
if you have one or two components. But that's kind of the magic of essential oils. And I just did a video where I explain. A friend of mine ran out of. She's selling. She's a pharmacist and doing also clinical work, but she's also selling essential oils. And she said she ran out of Ravinsara because everybody wanted stuff for flu and stuff like that. And so I did a video where I reconstruct Ravinsara, kind of, you know. I found the main components in Ravinsara and then I searched for the oils that that have those components. And then that's what I like to do. It's kind of in that line of what you're saying, because a lot of essential oils have just dominant cineol, dominant linalool, and then you can play with that. But there are still a lot of these little components in there that definitely affect the synergy.
yeah. And we don't actually know enough yet
No,
about each
no,
individual component to be able to say, well, just because, say, for example, tea tree oil, it's got terpene 4-ol as one of its major components. But
oh, but it's still
repeatedly
not
you see,
such
don't,
a high percentage. It's not
yeah,
that high.
yeah, it's about 40 or 30 or something. Anyway, but still,
Yeah,
everyone
look,
goes on and on and on about, I can't remember, we could look it up. Yeah.
we can talk like this for hours.
Yeah, we
As
could.
actually for 5 days.
Well, I need to sleep in between and probably have
And then
chocolate or something.
continue, you go to sleep and then you wake up. But Joy, you think about it.
Yeah, now you mention it. Yeah. So anyway, well, I think what I was trying to say was, even though there's that other, more pharmaceutical option of breaking the oils down, until that happens, then Dropsmith is the tool that we've got for being able to usefully do that playing, like you're suggesting, and making up blends that are therapeutically active.
But I really tried, Joy, to include everybody. So I did think about that option as well, because I know some colleagues are thinking in that direction, and I work a lot with pharmacists. I actually taught thousands of pharmacists. I can't say this now because I had so many lectures for them. So I got to interact with them a lot and see what they're thinking. And I don't think one excludes the other, or even if this is the way it will develop, we can integrate that quite easily because we already have information on particular chemical components. And I do think it's good to understand the individual chemical components, because that then, of course, helps you understand the big picture of the essential oil. But I wanted to say with Dropsmith, I wanted to include all these communities. I worked with, obviously, medical professionals, but I worked with distillers who have completely different, people from land and distillers, either the ones who are more engineer type and, want everything done that way, and the ones who work with land and have a completely different perspective and this beautiful connection to the land, and then therapists, all kinds of therapists, from clinical to massage to I actually teach at a university for cosmetics, and it's completely different aromatherapy than my nurses, what I have for them. These people want to know about skin and beauty and all this stuff I don't use, but probably should.
Nah. It's all in your genes, actually, it's genetic.
Well, I do use polychrysum a lot, as you can see. But anyway,
Sorry, I just have to interrupt you. You have to do one side of your face only.
I'm not that scientific.
Anyway, sorry, go on. You were going to say.
Maybe on my feet. Anyway, so I wanted to really, really connect these people, because I love all of them and I love how they're thinking, and I can understand all sides of the stories. Well, all the sides I got to experience anyway. So, the chemists, the scientists, the land people, the nurses, the therapists, the massage, the authors, the people who write articles, it's so many different opinions. And I really, really tried to bring them together, because I think then we can all move forward, we can all benefit. Because I noticed that a lot of research is not, well, I can maybe be so bold to say a lot of research is not useful for the therapists. Is that too much? But for example, we have a lot of research on what's the oil? What's the thing that you protect yourself from vampires?
Garlic.
So garlic essential oils, we found research on that, and who uses garlic essential oil in therapy? I mean, what's that about? I mean, I can understand it can probably be in capsules or for some other purposes that have no intention to be smelled at all. But I think we need to we kind of work together, and do research that a therapist will use. And there's some oils that a lot of therapists use very frequently and have not been researched that much.
Like Lang Lang and that sort of thing.
Well, that one's fine compared to some other ones, but fractions, nobody mentions fractions, because when I created Dropsmith, I made that. So when you click on ylang ylang, you know which fraction it is. But you can only see a little bit of difference. Some authors mention it in application. But on research, no. Even, for example, time. A lot of times when we found research on time, it was just thymus vulgaris and like, which chemotype, please. They're like,
and they don't. And, I think this is something that needs to come out soon, Melanie. And I've already broached the idea with the Tisserand Institute. But soon we need to start saying, if people are doing research on essential oils, you have to have the gas chromatographic analysis in the paper. You can't just say it was lavender oil. Has to have the botanic name, has to have even the batch number, preferably.
Yes, as much as possible. That's what I want to do in Dropsmith, to give you as much information as possibly available, so you can make the best choice possible. Now, I am unfortunately often in front of a very uncomfortable position where I have to choose what information I'm going to put and I'm not going to put, because it's, like you said, not complete in that matter. But I have to draw the line somewhere. For example, when we did cinnamon camphor, we did research for that. They didn't mention chemotype, and I decided like this is really irresponsible. So we did not include, for example, research if we didn't know which one it was chemotype. They're just so different, and these ones could be toxic as well. So you can actually do damage. So if you click at our whole wood, we have like really little bit of information, but I think that's far more responsible than giving you information that could be completely wrong.
I think
so these
you're
are
right.
the things that I have to make decisions on with my team, what we're going to include, which is sad because the research is out there. So yeah, absolutely. So if there are any ideas how we can address this problem,
well,
I am in contact with some laboratories, so I'm working toward that. But the more the merrier, the more effective we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we've got the global connectivity of, I mean, any person who's reading a scientific journal article can actually email the author and say, oh, by the way, would you please send me, 2 mils of your oil that you used, or, a small sample, then I can get it analyzed for you. And we can both go together.
Do you remember we did this? It was 2015, 16?
Yeah.
For Dropsmith, we made the whole thing, and we had the oils analyzed for free, and it was incredible. I made a whole project where the essential oils were tested at university, and then they were kind of having reports on them, and that's how it got started. How I started collecting the information on these oils through university faculty of pharmacy, and I promised. Well, as I needed as much information as possible, I said, okay, I'll get you the oils. I had no idea how to do this, but I said I will get you the oils, And then, But if I get yours, can they get something back? Can we give them the GCMSs? And they were so kind. They said, yeah, of course, we can give them the GCMSs. So it turned out, it blew up. This is what usually happens to me. I have a little idea and then it blows up like Dropsmith. and I ended up getting so many different oils from all corners of the world. People were calling me, sending me personal messages because this then spread. A lot of little distillers don't have money for GCMSs. They're getting really good analysis. And this was going on for like almost 2 yeah, it's actually still they're calling me, so I can still sometimes, I shouldn't say that sounds out loud, I can still sometimes
make that happen.
if it's within a certain project, but yeah, it's actually still going on, kind of. It was wonderful, and meeting all these people, and that again, in return, I understood how big this gap is. A lot of these distillers would call me and say, but how do I get in contact with these people? How much does it cost? What does that mean for me? They will get the analysis. They were looking at it like, okay, Melanie, now what is this? What do I do with it?
Yeah.
So we would enter in Dropsmith, so they would get an idea also when it adds up what the chemical components actually mean. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with those very rare oils. I got like tons of rare oils from, for example, from Arizona, and that just there. And then a friend of mine was doing distilling in where did they do? In Jamaica. In Jamaica, she had a whole humanitarian thing, and then of course we analyzed for them because it was already after the project, but because this was her gift to them, we wanted to contribute. And like her vetiver is completely different than the one from India, of course, and they did small distillations, so it's just awesome. We can talk about this forever.
We probably can, but it's just and maybe all that needs to be said is thank you, Melanie, for following your dream
most of the time.
but for just persisting with the vision to make it come to pass. I mean, I know there are other tools out there which have a similar idea and so on, but I've really enjoyed using Dropsmith, and I just thank you for your persistence. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna watch this video when I come to the next down phase. I'm like, what am I doing and why am I doing it?
That's right. Someone believes in me.
Joy. Okay, now I remember. I remember why I'm working at like 2 a.m.
That's right. Yes. No, and I'll be able to look at it and go, oh yeah, I inspired someone. Oh, maybe I've got something good in me. All right.
And your books too. You want to talk a little bit about your new book?
Well, I was going to at one point. I forget when. Probably when we were talking about how all the different people are coming in and trying to use essential oils and wanting the information about the chemical constituents. I mean, you can't really see this very clearly, this image, and people who follow me know this. But this top little petal says the word psyche. This word says the word skin, and this one says medicine. And then there's in the center is health. And this is really, it's like a political text in some ways. That is my take on where we are right here, right now in aromatherapy. And it's a strange thing because there are not many drugs in the world, like mainstream pharmaceuticals, which you can inhale and it does something good for your mind and your emotions. You can also rub it on your skin and do something, anti-inflammatory, or you could inhale it and help with your respiratory condition in your lungs, or ingest it and deal with something, colitis or something. And then there's the medicinal applications, which we're only just really beginning to explore now, which is the using of essential oils in capsules as medicines, as part of herbal medicine. It's been touched on a little bit. There are some oils which can be used in that way, and which have been, like peppermint, for the irritable bowel. That's quite well established. But this it's a weird situation. So I can understand why mainstream doctors have a trouble with essential oils, because they come in and they come in and they look at psyche and they go, oh, it's just about feeling good. Or they look at the first aid on the skin, oh, it's just about topical. And then, someone says, well, we want to use them internally. And they go, well, how can you use something internally that you can smell and put on your skin? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So we're at this stage, I think, when we need to really articulate those three uses of essential oils. And aromatherapy sort of stays mostly with the psyche and the skin at the moment, because there isn't the research on the medicinal properties. We can't safely say take 30 milligrams of an essential oil, or 100 milligrams or whatever, and it will guaranteeably do this. Okay, we're not there yet, I don't believe. Some of the French doctors say, we've been doing that for centuries. Well, maybe not centuries, but half a century. But I've been trying to actually drill down and find the scientific references for the French tradition, and there are none, because they don't need them. And the reason they don't need them is because they come from the phytotherapy tradition, which is empirical, trial and error. We know because we've been trained as doctors, and we've been trained this way, and we've experimented enough on our patients and found out that this is effective. We don't need a clinical trial. We don't need randomization. We don't need controlled anything, blah, blah, blah. We know.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do with Dropsmith, find these things, loopholes, like with Ravensara. It's known that you use it when you have a flu, cold, blah, blah, blah. But when we looked at the evidence, there was not so much on Ravensara itself. It was more on the chemical components within it, and not sufficient enough. But like you say, people know it works. And if I collect this data at one place, then we will see where these loopholes are, and if we're using a certain oil for something, can we please now test it and just have it black and white, and so that we can, because we do live in a world where we need to back it up with research, and if it doesn't have research, then, for example, a lot of my colleagues here that work in hospitals, it's really hard for them to use because they don't have scientific evidence.
That's right.
Just the way it is now. So we do need to collaborate and work together. And, it's not that hard. I mean, if I gave you the information, what it's used for, can you just please test it? And then we move on. And please do not do like 100 of tests on the same thing. We all know lavender will, help you sleep. Can we move forward and do that on another oil?
Yeah. But which one should we choose? Because there are hundreds.
By the way, we have, I think, over 700 now in Dropsmith.
700 oils.
Over.
Individual species? Or
over 500 for sure. Over 500 individual species, but then there's like chemotype. If you type in time, I think we have around over 20 different times. So different species, different chemotypes, and the species with different chemotype. There's that time chemotype of Sinel that I never.
Really? Okay.
I'm learning a lot with my own. It's so much fun.
I mean, if you said to me there was a thyme oil that was rich in cineol, I'd be going,
Are you sure?
I'm not so sure. Exactly.
But I think Tisserand does have safety on it. So he also saw it. So it's not just me.
Still need to triangulate the evidence. That's right. And
at least
that's really good.
I do have some laboratories that I'm in contact with. So it's really nice. I have all this support, and sometimes I get mails like, "Oh, Melanie, I just got one a few weeks ago. I was checking out your database, and this is the first thing I'm like, oh my God, this person's looking at my database, and he's like an expert on essential oils. Do I really want this?" And I do. I'm kidding. And then he's like, I was looking at your, I don't know, what was it? Copaiba, I think, from a certain seller. And I think it's patchouli.
Oh.
Okay, we'll double check. So I do get this information all the time. I mean, there's so much. We have almost 14,000 references. So I do have people like Bob Harris also contacted me and said, now I have a lot of time, and I've been I did in like last 2 weeks, I did 200 new research, and I started checking them out with Dropsmith. So I think this research you have to read again. You know, like, okay.
Yeah.
No. Oh, my research ladies, can you please double check this? You know, so it's really nice that how much community is contributing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a big job, you know, and this is a disclaimer here as well. If you see anything that you think should be different, I'm always open for that. Because like with the patchouli thing,
and you're right. No one can be an expert in every aspect. You know,
yes,
I totally agree. Yeah.
That's why I want everything to be transparent and every part to be done by an expert. And of course, having all of you guys included and with your suggestions, that's the only way to get it better. And then
good.
this like these GCMSs that are done, and obviously some might not have been done properly. Then I'm working on connecting them with laboratories so that we can kind of hopefully standardize that as well. There's so much work going.
Oh yes, I know. Well, you might have to franchise out. You know.
I hope to do so. I'd like to have more time for myself as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So what can we expect in the next sort of 5 years from Dropsmith, do you think? Can you say anything?
Oh, I don't know if I can say, because I hate to promise and then not deliver. And with IT, that happens very quickly.
True. It can blow out. Yeah.
I definitely do want to go in a direction where I'm connecting not only people and authors and scientists and researchers and laboratories as much as possible to see what is still missing, where we can still add. I want to build the community so we communicate, so we don't, more in accepting than including than excluding. Of course, there's difference of opinion, but there's difference of therapy, So take what you need, what works for you. I think at the end of the day, what's most important is that we help the client. That, to help with this information. Who's right or wrong? No, that's, of course, some things are obvious, but a lot of times it's an opinion. What works for you might not work for me, and vice versa. And for me, the most important thing is that we're safe. That I do provide you with as much information as possible so you can make your own intelligent decision, and that it can be safe. Again, let's say that twice. And we have kids, we have to.
Safe.
And the more we have, the more we can get clear about what really works, what doesn't, where is the gray area, what we can clean up, which oil should be chemotyped, why, what does that mean for the oil, Again, back to the safety, working together, connecting laboratories to the distillers, making that more available for them. That would be wonderful. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, it would be good, because then you have a sort of quality all the way through.
This is where I want to go into, and I'm kind of doing it, but I want to do it more.
For me, the next 5 years is about getting myself set up with some sort of income stream. However it happens, I don't really care, but something a bit more sort of reliable than where it is at the moment. And then to actually continue on building the idea of getting research global, because we have to address this issue of the clinical research. We have to somehow.
It's out there, and it just needs to be kind of categorized a little bit better and standardized. And we can do this. We can do this.
But we need. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's all very well and good to have it experimented on a rat or on a cell line or on a microbial, one of those agar plates. Lovely idea if you just want to get a PhD, but if you want to help people, which is what you said, and I agree. I mean, there's all the knowledge in the world can't help anybody unless it's practical, unless it's actually been researched and actually tried in real humans.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody on email just a little while ago, and I had said that I use a supermarket brand of lavender oil in the kitchen to stop myself getting burns. I said it out loud. It's on my Journal Club introductory video, and I put it on neat. In fact, I slather it on.
Joy, I'm gonna cut this out.
I know, but
believe it. It's you.
yeah, but it's me. That's right. And I said, you know what? That's actually inauthentic of me to recommend that. I agree. What I really want to do is to get myself a fragrance oil of lavender, like purely synthetic lavender. I want to get that supermarket brand, and I want to get pure organic, well-crafted French lavender, alpine brand, most expensive, most purest, most beautiful, blah, blah. And I have those three, and I'm going to get the wok in the kitchen at the right temperature. I'm going to burn my arm 3 times, and I'm going to put the oil on the A, B, and C, and we'll see what happens. That's what we need, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
Ideally, also,
and then please write an article so that I can include it in Dropsmith. If you're going through all that pain and suffering for us.
It's not much. It's just, I do it all the time when I'm cooking because I'm clumsy. Bump the edge of my hand. I can actually do it deliberately, and I can have A, B, C, and then D and E can be pure linalool and a mixture of linalool and linalool acetate, or probably I have to have F with just linalool acetate.
Or you can do whole wood and linalool and see the difference.
Now that would be good because of the difference in the isomers of the linalool.
Yes.
Now this is getting ridiculous. I'm going to be turning it into a fetish.
Let's not encourage pain, okay? No.
Well, and then for the upper thigh, all right, then I'm going to... I was just thinking I have to do the concentration because I've been saying it's okay.
I don't know why, Joy, but I'm thinking a lot of helichrysum as I'm talking to you.
But I don't. I hate helichrysum because I've never used the stuff.
On your thigh, you will be fine.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
We can cut that bit out, Melanie. So anyway, it's been delightful just talking to you and reminding ourselves of this last 4 years of connection and seeing each other grow and change and develop, and it's been good. And I'm glad I stepped back into the pond.
Yes, me too. It's inspiring. Swim with us as long as possible.
Oh yes, absolutely. Until I'm required somewhere else, but hasn't happened yet.
To see more of Joyful Joy, check out her awesome webinars. We have a lot of webinars as well.
Oh, thank you. Right? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. If you go to the website ejoybowls.com, you can go through to the webinars there. That's easy. Yeah. Thank you. And we know where you live.
Hopefully not.
No. But I mean on Dropsmith. Yeah. Dropsmith. Yeah. No, it's all good. All right.
I'm more of a cyber person for cyber personality.
It's fine.
So it was lovely to catch up. We keep in touch for our workshop as well.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
And thank you all for listening. If you're still there. Having fun with Joy.
Yeah. We always have fun. That's good. Thanks, Melanie. All right, I'm going to stop the recording then. Yeah. Bye.